Italy, yet another venue for Cedric Kushner's multitudinous Italian promotions. Interesting fight, this one, with Frank Tate, who really was a big Olympic golden boy back in 1984 and became a world middleweight champion. Up here against Yawe Davis of Uganda. The IBF Intercontinental light heavyweight title is on the line. That is frankly a pretty meaningless bauble, but it's interesting, this fight, because Tate is looking to gate crash the world title picture once again. Tate in the blue trunks here, and Yawe Davis, the Italian-based Ugandan, in the yellow. Tate, well, you might remember him coming to Britain about 3 years back. He fought Tony Simpson at the Bingley Hall in Stafford, and he knocked Simpson out in the 10th round, and that was right at the end of Simpson's career. But since then, Tate's career has taken something of a nosedive, and he's looking to re-establish himself here in the 12.5 stone division. It's an interesting test for him, Gary.
It is an interesting test, but just there, he just took two right hands. He just took another one there that looked to shake him slightly, and so early in the fight.
Tate was always very, very good in his heyday with the left jab. Could throw it from all sorts of angles, and he had a good fast right as well, as Simpson found out that night at the Bingley Hall in Stafford. A night, incidentally, when they had CS gas canisters exploding among the crowd. I remember that one pretty well. It took us quite a bit of time to recover, but he looks just a little bit lethargic in this opening round already to me, Tate.
Yeah, Tate there, as I said, he took some earlier on, and he doesn't look... I don't know, there's something that looks the matter with him there. But I suppose maybe it's the first round, and he has to get over nerves and whatever else.
Davis, you can see, a southpaw. That is, he leads with the right hand. Good shot from Davis. On paper, this was expected to be a routine defense of this Intercontinental title for Tate on his way to bigger things, but Davis is a respected opponent. Among his victories, he's beaten Taufik Balbouli, the Frenchman who became a WBA cruiserweight champion. So he's not a mug.
Yeah, he's not fighting like one either. He's fighting as if he's the champion defending something. Tate is being forced to defend, taking shots there.
Not very elusive, Tate, in this opening round. He's taken some decent headshots, and Davis looks as if he's not read any script here about being an opponent. He's come here and he's looking to cause the upset.
I think maybe Tate might be having a problem with the stance, because he's moving his right hand and trying to switch it, trying to find the right position to keep it, to avoid those straight lefts.
There's that left again from Davis, and Tate was a bit of a mug for it, and he's caught with the right, leads again, having to collar up. A very confident, almost swaggering look about the challenger in this opening round. And there goes the bell to end the opening round. Well, Gary, I must say, I thought that opening round was Davis's.
Oh, I think Davis will run that round there. He landed a straight right and the left hook. Tate tried to fight back.
Round two, then, this light heavyweight bout. Let me remind you, the IBF Intercontinental champion, Frank Tate, in the blue trunks. You can hardly miss him. He's got his name written on the waistband. And he's had a bad opening round here against this Ugandan Davis. Davis lost his last fight against the German former amateur star, Henry Masker.
Well, you said earlier on that you can't hardly miss Tate, but I don't think Davis can't hardly miss him as well. He keeps catching him with that straight left, that will. Ian, the last time Tate fought, and he was fighting Tony Simpson, and they were throwing gas canisters and everything, you were slipping and bobbing and weaving. You were doing a lot better than Tate's doing now. Did your army training come in handy?
Yeah, First World War training, of course, that was, Gary. But Tate here looking a little bit more aggressive in the second round. The corner will have had a word with him. Look at him there, just nod at Davis for a moment there. A little kind of mutual admiration or respect. Good right coming back from Tate that time, but Davis, he looks quite dangerous in there at the moment. His record, by the way, Davis, he's won 26, lost 7, drawn 2.
Davis is boxing very well at this stage. I think Tate is generally having trouble handling the southpaw style at this stage. Someone with his experience shouldn't have that sort of trouble.
Tate working behind that left jab. That used to be his trademark, but he doesn't look to have the speed he had when he was the IBF middleweight champion to me anymore. He doesn't seem to carry the extra weight so well. He beat Michael Olajide to win the title. That was a shock win. And he lost it to Michael Nunn. Stopped in 9 rounds. And his career really, since then, has been in the doldrums.
Well, he's fluctuated between weights quite a lot. And he's not an exceptionally big man, is he? So surely there must have been some effect with the fluctuation.
Well, between middleweight and super and light heavyweight here, he stopped off at super middle and challenged Lyndall Hobbs and lost that too for the IBF title.
And he did actually start, he won the Olympic gold at light middle, didn't he?
He's not slipping anything. That's right, he did, Gary. Beat Sean O'Sullivan in 1984. That was the year that people like Freeland and Holyfield and Tyrrell Biggs were in the Olympics.
He's allowing himself to be hit with that southpaw right lead too easily, and then when the southpaw straight left comes across, he doesn't know what to do about it.
He's just not slipping the punches, is he, Tate? His boxing skills seem to have been eroded somewhere along the line. Well, 2 interesting rounds gone there, and Tate, to my way of thinking, for somebody who has his eyes on maybe a fight with Prince Charles Williams for the world title, he's just not elusive enough. Williams would make mincemeat of him on this form. Third round then, Tate in the blue trunks.
Tate seems to be fighting like a, you know, you see them shot fighters who are not so good anymore and they don't slip as many as they used to, and the slightest sort of punch makes them look all wobbly. He's fighting like a shot fighter.
And he's only 26. Well, Tate is looking to prove otherwise here. Snapping out that jab a bit better now. There's a bit more speed in it.
But the Ugandan, he's boxing very coolly. He hasn't really changed. He hasn't got excited or tried too hard either, but he's just boxing well.
So far, not impressed at all by Tate. No speed, no variety really about him. And he's been quite easy to hit as well.
Yes, he's not avoiding anything. I think he might have been surprised at Davis's ability. Davis, their expressionless, his expression hasn't changed at all.
Davis, by the way, is ranked number 9 in the world by the WBO, but don't read very much into that because they don't rank the fellow who beat him, Masker, at all. It's, I suppose there are lies, damn lies, in the WBO ratings.
Well, Saddam Hussein, he offered to give himself up for war crimes. But he said, providing the WBO appointed the judges.
Well, we make jokes, but they certainly do need to brush up their credibility a little bit at the moment. But Tate here having it rather more his own way, boxing behind his jab in this round. Davis doing a bit less, though snapping out that southpaw lead. Pulled in with a right there, but another good left hook from Tate as well, and I think Tate was the better punch there.
Yes, Davis backed off after taking that punch, didn't he? I think now Tate's experience and grip might be telling, because he's taken his share, but he's still going forward and still trying, whereas Davis is beginning to relax a lot more and go backwards more.
Now it's better from Tate. Now he's beginning to move his head from side to side and just slip 1 or 2. It's taken him a bit of time to get into gear, but in this third round, there you see, better defensively. Those punches now starting to miss, and then he scores with a right on the counter himself. This is Tate's best round yet.
I'm wondering now if Davis doesn't look like an on-top fighter. He does well when he's on top, but when he starts becoming a bit of a fight, he starts folding a little bit.
We'll see. And there again the combination, left jab, right from Tate. Well, that third round, no question about it, Gary, that was Frank Tate's round.
Yeah, good round for Tate. I think here is where he was, he got caught with a left there, but it wasn't anything different from what he's been caught with before.
There's that right, and Davis got out of the way of that. Fourth round then, Frank Tate in the blue trunks, looking to get back in the world title picture and build on that better third round he had.
Tate now, I think he's beginning to gain a lot more confidence in what he's doing and beginning to relax with the southpaw style, so he's doing a lot better now.
Getting his gloves up quite well there, Tate. Misses with those shots and Davis out of range. Davis with this southpaw stance. 28 years of age, a couple of years older than Tate.
A lot of boxing managers have said that all southpaws should be like decapitated at birth sort of thing because they're an aggravation to all orthodox fighters.
Funny thing that no southpaw has ever won the World Heavyweight Championship, just a little either side, but maybe Michael Moorer will be the one to end that trend.
I'll have to second that, Ian. I saw Michael Moorer's win over Alex Stewart and I was very impressed.
Davis here getting on his bike a bit more in this round, presenting the mobile target. Good lateral movement from him, and not just standing there and letting Tate jab him.
But Davis now, he's not in as much control as he was before. He's been forced to do things which I believe he doesn't really want to do. And Tate now beginning to do what he likes in the fight.
He's been quite a live opponent though, Davis. Quite impressive, really. He's not come here to just lie down in front of Tate and be another victim on his record. Tate, who's only lost twice, by the way, and both in world title fights to Nunn and Holmes. Those two fights I was telling you about earlier. Since he's moved up to light heavyweight, he hasn't beaten anybody of consequence yet.
I think he's not a big light heavyweight, and he's going to really have to fight some of the major ones. He just got staggered there, or his feet were off balance, but something looked funny and punches were landing.
His defence is better now, Tate. He's blocking a lot with the gloves.
But it seems as if Davis could actually do some damage at any time, but I haven't had that indication from Tate.
He's not got a good record in terms of knockouts and stoppages, Davis. Only 12 inside the distance wins out of 26, which suggests he's a moderate puncher.
Well, judging by the effect of some of the punches he's landed on Tate, that means Tate's chin's going, isn't it?
In Salvino, Italy, just in time for the fifth round here as Frank Tate defends his IBF Intercontinental Light Heavyweight title against Yawe Davis. Don't worry about that rather long-winded name for the championship, doesn't mean very much. In truth, what does mean quite a bit is whether Tate has got the credentials to get back into the world title scene. Tate in the blue trunks here. When he used to be with the Houston Boxing Association, Tate, he used to have all sorts of high-tech training, even emotional training, which sounds really like something off the Marge Proops page in the Daily Mirror, doesn't it? I'm not sure March Proops can teach you to take a punch, though.
No, or tell you what to do once someone has hit you hard at the body in your heart. But Tate now, he's beginning to dominate and show that he's the better fighter with more experience. But Davis, by far not finished. He's still battling away.
Still quite effective with that southpaw jab, Yawe Davis. Although he's a Ugandan, he's lived in Italy for the last 10 years. He's still not a naturalized Italian. Don't ask me why that is. He's based in Genoa, which is the home of the Italian football champions, Sampdoria, by the way.
Have we got anybody playing for them? Have any British players played for Sampdoria?
Well, I think Trevor Francis used to, but we digress a little. And Liam Brady. So I suppose you might say that Davis really was at home here in Italy. He's a bit out of range with that jab. He's not really putting very much power into that jab. It's a kind of fleeting punch thrown rather off balance. Not like the southpaw jab that Marvin Hagler used to throw.
Well, what things happened to Davis after his initial start, when he started really well? Tate's beginning to work his way back into the fight, and Davis is losing that maybe that bit of ambition, although he's doing a little thing now. But here comes Tate.
Tate's jabs looks better to me.
Oh, by far, Tate at this stage is the better fighter. But Davis started well, but I don't know, now he's beginning to think, well, maybe this guy is a lot better than I thought, and he's going to be here to the end, so he's sort of changing his attitude to the fight now.
There's that doubling up on the jab by Tate. Now that was quite classy from him. That was a little flashback to the days when he used to take the eye quite a bit on the way up in the middleweight division. Five rounds gone. I've got Tate ahead at this point. Let's just have a look at the career of Frank Tate. There it is, 27 wins and a couple of defeats. He's beaten good men like Michael Olajide, Curtis Parker and Ricky Stackhouse in those wins, and those two defeats both in world title fights. And Yawe Davis, 28, couple of years older, more defeats and a couple of draws on his record. Most of his wins, if I'm honest with you, have been against lower class opposition. There he is scoring with the southpaw jab in that round and making Tate miss with that right. Round 6 then, and Frank Tate, the champion in the blue trunks, Yawe Davis, who's put up a good performance here so far, but needs to just have a big round, you feel, Gary, now in this 6 to claw his way back into it a little bit.
Yeah, Yawe Davis, he needs to go in there and take charge and dominate around for a bit. But at the same time, I'd like to see Tate land some shots that have some real effect on Davis, just to see whether he can actually do it anymore.
I don't think either boxer's been really shaken up by anything so far. It's been largely a fight of two jabbers so far. No real heavy artillery has landed or rocked anybody so far.
But by Tate's record and all that, Tate shouldn't be having an evenly matched contest with a guy of this caliber. He should be dominating the fight.
He's far from having it all his own way here, Frank Tate, and if he is going to get back into the world title scene, you're looking for an explosive performance, really, something that makes you think, yeah, he's got back that touch he had about 3 or 4 years back.
He might be having a hard fight in his mind and to himself, but he hasn't got to convince himself, he's got to convince the public, hasn't he? If he wants to make real money, that is.
Good right from him there, though, Tate, throwing with good speed, and then he's got his jab working once, twice, 3 times, and got his gloves up well. Those were good skills from the former IBF middleweight champion. A good schooling, Tate. He was schooled in the Kronk Gym in Detroit, one of the great academies of world boxing. and left to join Josephine Abercrombie's Houston Boxing Association.
He used to be trained by Jesse Reed, and I don't notice Jesse Reed in the corner.
Well, I think he's moved on to pastures new since then. 2 jabs again from Tate. He's done well in this round. He's boxed quite neatly, but he hasn't yet had Davis in any kind of trouble. Rather wild, desperate punches those from Davis.
Davis, I think he's now defending himself. He's not exactly fighting. He's trying to beat Tate off.
He's looking a bit more tired in this round, Davis. Look at his gloves dropping now. You see, down. He's not keeping his gloves up, and his punching has become a bit ragged in this round, and Tate, quite honestly, in this round has just outboxed him.
Now, what Tate has to do is use his experience and get close and land some real heavy shots, because I think Davis is ready for them now.
Tate working behind that jab. You see that southpaw jab coming back from Davis only landed on the gloves. Halfway point of the contest. How are you seeing it so far, Gary?
Well, it looks now, in my mind, like not exactly a formality, but it looks as if Tate's just going to come on and get stronger and stronger throughout the fight.
There's some action again from that 6th round. There's a good left there from Tate, and Davis is out of range with his own southpaw lead. 7th round coming up then. Just breathing a little heavier now, this Italian-based Ugandan Yawe Davis in the yellow trunks here.
What Davis will need at this stage is a big punch to put a deterrent in Tate, but his record suggests that he can't land such a punch.
Davis, by the way, went to Australia last year, and he gave Guy Waters, the Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, all the trouble he could handle, and lost a very, very disputed decision out there. Very angry they were about that. And Guy Waters, you remember, beaten by Dennis Andrews in a world title fight.
And his brother Troy fought Horace Notice as a heavyweight here in Commonwealth title defense.
And while we're on the subject of brothers, of course, Frank Tate here, his brother Thomas Ice-T Tate, as he calls himself, is an unbeaten middleweight on the way up. So boxing runs in the family a bit, doesn't it?
At this stage, I can't see Tate. That was a slip there, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's getting his gloves up quite well, Tate.
But Davis is making a little bit of a fight back of this, isn't he?
He's taking the fight to Tate in this round. Tate maybe just not quite as cool, but he comes with a clubbing left there.
I think Tate is now sussed. He does a cut. That is a cut, isn't it?
Just by the side of the left eye of Tate. I don't think it's anything much to worry about. But in this round, Davis is looking to rough Tate up a little bit. He's throwing a lot of leather, and he's quite happy to miss with 2 or 3 if 4 or 5 others crash home.
Well, I think that the sight of blood for Davis must have inspired him to really go on, and Tate must be thinking, well, where's the cut coming from? How bad is it? And that's what's changed the fight for a minute.
And suddenly he doesn't look so confident, Tate. That blood there, it's not flowing into the eye. He's caught by a good right there, but back he comes with a good left and right of his own. Good action there in the 7th.
Now Davis has seen some light. He's got something to aim for, and Tate's there panicking, thinking, well, what's going to happen now? Bad's a cut and all that. He's got to try and forget the cut and just fight. He keeps wiping it.
Corner is shouting to Davis to go on in there and brawl and rough Tate up at close quarters, and that might not be bad policy for him. 2 jabs going, then a left. Good round this for Davis, and the jab again. That blood flows a bit thicker. Lucky you got out of the way of that one, Gary.
That came from another part of Italy, where a show hasn't been staged yet.
Cedric Kushner still will have one there. Good round for Davis, that one. He really did launch the assault there on Tate in that round. Threw a lot of leather, opened up the cut, And there may be some mileage left in this fight yet, Gary. Plenty of it, in fact.
Well, now the fight's really going to start hotting up because Davis has got something to aim for and Tate has got something to defend against. Southpaw jabs and straight lefts landing on the cut. The cut has now become a major target.
Davis much encouraged, and another right there landed on that eye, and the blood flowed a bit thicker. There it is again. He's working on that like the experienced pro he is. Delay on the start of the round there. They're just taping up Yawe Davis's gloves again. That's okay. They don't want bits flapping around there because it can flick into the eye. Obviously very dangerous. So they get back to work, and Davis will look to build on that initiative he created for himself in the 7th here in round 8.
But I think Tate now should feel a lot better because he's been back to the corner. Dave must have said to him, listen, there's a cut there, it's not that bad, it's all under control. So the panic should be over for Tate. Now he can start to get back to his boxing.
Looks quite a competent kind of fighter though, doesn't he, Davis? He'd give anybody a decent little run.
That's right, he may never be world champion, but he'll give anybody who thinks they're going to be a bit of a scare, wouldn't he?
They've patched up the damage by the side of the eye for the moment, but of course Davis will be looking to land on that area and maybe reopen the cut. And once Tate feels that blood trickling down again, of course, that will just erode his confidence a little bit.
I think Tate now as well, he's also sussed the southpaw style completely in a way, because how I used to fight southpaws was move around to the left, keep my right hand up to the left-hand side of my face, and their lead jab always lands on the glove, and I think he's doing that now.
Oh, that's a good left from Tate, and that was good hand speed from him. That was an excellent punch. Davis took it really as if nothing had happened.
I think the following left hook caught Davis as he was moving as well. He was slipping it, so he rode the punch, so the full effect didn't land on Davis.
Well executed punch though, wasn't it?
Good combination.
There, just pumping out that little persistent jab of his, the left. He's out of range that time, but that's his stock in trade, always was the 94 Tony Simpson in Britain. There we are, left and right again from Tate. And there he is again, all the time, snake-like. And it becomes a bit sickening after a while to keep having jabs hammered in your face like that.
And that's the way fighters lose fights, because if they're not hurting you, especially, you start accepting them, but you don't realise you're losing the fight while you're accepting them. So I think either Tate has made a good stand for himself in this round, or Davis has not tried as well as he could have done because he hasn't taken advantage of the last round.
No, he needed to keep up that pace and pressure, didn't he, really? And in this round he's just eased off a little. He hasn't done badly though in the round, but Tate's got that confident look about him back again. Oh, they are. Nice right to the side of the head there was from Davis, as the bell goes to end what is now a very interesting fight with plenty to play for. Welcome back to Salvino, into the home stretch now of this IBF Intercontinental Light Heavyweight fight. Frank Tate, this is action from round 8 in the blue trunks here. And Yawe Davis, well, none of those punches really landed, did they, from Tate? This is the 9th. On my scorecard at the moment, I have Tate ahead by a couple of points. How about you, Gary?
Well, I'd say I had him ahead maybe by 1 point, because I'd have given the last round the draw, Ian. So that would make him 1 point in front rather than 2.
And I gave the last round to Tate, but that's what makes the world go round. Yeah. Judges, of course, all see it differently, and that's why you get disparity in the scoring. Something we'll talk about maybe one day and discuss on ringside at greater length. Now then, the jab going out from Tate again there. The big question mark over Tate, really, in the last few years has been, does he really have the fire anymore after the way Nunn beat him and the way Holmes beat him? Is he really hungry enough, ambitious enough, and does he have the fire in his belly to be a top world champion? What do you think on the evidence you've seen tonight, Gary?
Well, on this evidence, I'd have to say the other champions in this division, Lorenzo Barber and Dennis Andres, would actually beat him. But then we don't know if the opponent maybe is not a big enough name. He hasn't brought the best out in Tate, and maybe Tate hasn't been able to get himself up for this particular fight.
Have been talk about Frank Tate if he wins this, and it's an if at the moment. He might fight Prince Charles Williams, the long-reigning IBF champion.
Well, Prince Charles Williams would definitely beat him on this performance. So just on the viewing of this particular performance, Prince Charles Williams would beat him, but we're not to know what Tate's going through and how he's feeling about this fight.
That's good. That's good by Tate. 1, 2, 3 jabs, all into the head.
Tate's beginning to take control of the fight again, as if to say to Davis, well, I'm the champion and I'm going to take control again.
He's a better technician, isn't he, Gary Tate? But he can't sort of establish what you would call clear superiority here.
No, he can't. I think he generally he's still having a little bit of trouble with the southpaw style, and I think that's the only thing that's causing the aggravation for Tate. He can't get close enough to land real big, solid, like thudding punches.
Hasn't brought his right into play very much, has he, Tate?
Well, Tate, I don't think, has been given the opportunity to bring the right in, because Davis has made good use of his head and tried to avoid a lot of the punches that he just did there.
Yeah, Davis coming back twice with that right lead of his, but then decent looking right from Tate as well, but not having very much effect. Davis has never really been shook up at all. So how are you seeing it at the moment, Gary? 9 rounds gone.
Well, I think Tate is well in front. He's in front by about 3 rounds. But Davis needs to make a concentrated effort now to go out there and do something and take charge of the fight.
10th round then. Frank Tate, the IBF Intercontinental Champion. Too many titles, if you ask me, and this is one that doesn't really mean very much, if I'm honest with you. But to Tate, of course, it's just a vehicle for getting back to the big title, the world title, of which there are, of course, 4 versions held by Dennis Andres, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, Prince Charles Williams and Leonza Barber. And there's been talk that if Tate can win this, he might be up against Prince Charles Williams.
Well, it'd be good to see the light heavyweight division unificated, because it's always been like one of the unglamorous divisions, and if you've got 4 champions in an unglamorous division, it just makes matters worse. So it'd be good to see all the champions get together and they end up one champion in the end.
Davis really needs to win this round. Gary and I have him behind at the moment, but some of the rounds have been on the tricky side to score.
Davis has never really been out of the fight, but when you're fighting a champion, you've actually got to take the title from him. You can't just be there with him and hang with him. You've got to be better than him in every department almost.
Made to miss there, Tate. Good body shot right from Tate. Back comes Davis though, and Tate there just for a moment there, looking as if he lost his balance.
I think maybe Tate might have been shook by something, or something's bothering him, because that's exactly the way he's going now, is the way he went when the eye injury first, the cut on the eye appeared.
Not very much in this 10th round so far.
Davis is trying to be the aggressor, but he's not being aggressive enough. He needs to be a lot more, and throw more caution to winning, throw more punches, take more chances.
I think he's probably still quite respectful of Tate's right, and he doesn't want to create any opportunities for Tate to throw that. There, he got one in there. Not a big bomb of a right hand, but a useful looking one.
It stands as a reminder to Davis in case he does get a little bit brave, doesn't it? Do you think maybe at this stage Tate's saying to himself, well, I'm that far in front, I can just relax?
No, I don't think he can make that assumption at all, actually. I don't think it's that much of a foregone conclusion. I think he's still got to go out there and win the rounds. So a couple of rounds to go. Yawe Davis goes back to the corner. He's managed, by the way, by Bruno Akari, the former WBC light welterweight champion from 1970 to 74, a man who only lost 2 of 73 contests. How Davis would love to emulate that kind of record. There he is. I wonder what they're saying to him in the corner there. Looks tired, doesn't he?
Yes, he looks a bit battle-worn, and he's got to get out of that if he wants to win. He's got to really win these last 2 rounds, and in a big way, in my opinion, or by the way I've got on my scorecard.
Well, Tate, Gary and I think, has just about done enough at the moment without over-impressing or sending too many alarm bells ringing in the homes of the 4 world champions.
If I was Dennis Andrews or any of the other champions sitting down watching this fight, I'd be thinking, well, I'll be alright if I was to fight this guy, but as I said before, you don't know, sometimes opponents make you look bad, and Davis is a southpaw, and they're the worst opponents to actually fight.
I think the other thing about Tate, really, if he wants to get a world title shot, is he needs to look a bit more exciting and have a bit more marquee value and ticket selling appeal, doesn't he? So that the TV people come in and they want to stage a fight with Tate and one of the world champions. And tonight, frankly, he just hasn't looked like that. We're looking there at Olivar, European champion at welterweight, doing a bit of TV commentary locally. Patricio Olivar.
Well, you know, nowadays boxing is like, it's not only the fighting of it, it's show business with blood, and if you're not a good performer, then it doesn't add to your like marketability.
And that's just a slip, maybe just a bit of water or something slipped in out of one of the buckets during the inter-round there. You have to be careful about that.
You know what makes me laugh these days, Ian? Ever since Ali had tassels on his boots, you see a lot of fighters, they all wear tassels, but none of them can really fight. So they're letting the tassels down, aren't they?
It's just part of the fashion stakes, I guess, which is pervading all sports. A lot of leather thrown, but not much landing there. Crowd liked it nevertheless.
I think the crowd, they're shouting Davis.
Hard to tell, really, isn't it, in Italian? Well, that's a good little burst there from Davis, and fought well in reverse gear there to sway out of the attempted counter-attack from Tate.
See, Davis is attacking now, being aggressive, but this is what he should have been doing 4 rounds ago. Not now.
Last 15 seconds of the 11th round, and it looks really as if both of these think that maybe the decision is still very much in the balance, to answer your point of about a round ago. Tate's looking to mix it up a bit more and throw everything in. So just 3 minutes left in this contest there, and they're both, I think, pretty tired now. They both look just a shade stiffer in the leg there in the last minute or so of the 11th round, and why not? Because they've fought now for 33 quite hard minutes.
Well, I think Davis looked the stronger at the 2 at the end of that round, and Tate looked the one that to be doing less of the work. But whether it's out of desperation from Davis, a good exchange of punches there from both fighters.
So the 12th and final round then for this IBF Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Championship, held by Tate at the moment in the blue trunks. Yawe Davis, we think, needs a pretty big last round here. But you never know how the three judges are seeing things.
You've got three men sitting three different sides of the ring, so they'll always see different punches landed, and their impressions and ideas of things are going to be different.
I think the pair of them might be prepared to throw caution to the winds a little bit more in this last round.
I've never understood why, when fighters challenge for titles, be it any a world title or a small title, why they don't do that all the time anyway, because you don't know if you're going to get that chance again.
Davis working quite well behind his southpaw jab here, landing most. Tate out of range.
Tate looks as if he was caught with a right there, because he sort of like he stumbled around and he came back, and he didn't look to be totally okay, but he's recovered now.
Well, he's just hitting air with his jab at the moment here, Tate. He's thrown it about 8 times and it hasn't landed at all.
And Tate looks the tire of the two of them, but Davis he's stalking him, but he's not. Davis has got to pounce on him and live on him and tire him out or tire himself out.
Slipped the punches well there, Yawe Davis. This has been a very respectable performance indeed from him. There's not an awful lot in this.
And the fact that we're in Italy and Davis is half an Italian.
You think that might sway the judges? It shouldn't, but it sometimes does. But oh, he's caught them with a right, but he slipped in the corner. Now, that is not counted as a knockdown, but I don't know, that's slightly contentious because he seemed to slip almost as a result of the punch and the fact that there was something slippery in the corner. Probably the right decision by the referee.
You explained it all there in one go, didn't you?
Davis has looked good in this last round.
Yeah, but now's not the time. He should have looked at it earlier on. I still might be wrong yet, but he should have done more of this from about round 9.
He's found the range quite nicely with this jab in this round. He's done much the better work. Tate there just stumbling a little bit, looking heavier legged. Davis is finishing the stronger, and I think Gary's right. A bit more of this a little earlier on, but it still could be fairly close, this. I had Tate 2 rounds ahead going into the last round. That was Davis's last round, and on my scorecard, and for what it's worth, I have Tate a 1-point winner at the fight.
Oh, well, if it's that close here, anything's possible.
3 judges, Lynn Carter from the United States, where they do have woman judges, and 2 Germans. This is from the last round, and look at this work here from Yawe Davis. And look at Tate there, just slipping and losing his footing a little bit. He took quite a bit. And the judges' scorecards, as you watch this, are being collated. And it'll be very interesting. Gary, what do you think?
Well, I think we've got it 1 point away. So anything could be possible, couldn't it?
Well, we're about to hear now. Here it is. The decision will be announced in Italian. I shall attempt a translation.
Tate 114, Davis 113.
1-1-14, 1-1-13 to Tate is the first judge.
Pusher, Tate 114, Davis 115.
So Davis gets the second judge, 1-1-5 to 1-1-4. It'll all depend on this last one.
Tate 117, Davis 114.
Tate's won it, 1-1-7 to 1-1-4. The final judge, split decision winner is Frank Tate. There are whistles and boos from the crowd. They wanted the Italian-based Davis to win it, and Tate, without being especially convincing, wins and will hope for a world title fight. Whether that was good enough to earn him one is quite another question.